What are you starting to like less the older you get? Waking up at 5 a.m. to piss. Social media. I've already pared it down to Reddit and Instagram years ago, but honestly could do without IG now. Anything with a lot of hype that requires me to stand in a long-ass line. Lack of leisure time. When I was younger, it wasn't a deal to go from work to gym to home to right back out half an hour later to bar hop or movie or something. Now it's like work. Oh hell, gym? Not even half an hour to chill? No? FCK. After gym I'm not doing SHT the rest of the night. Working. Getting drunk. Politics. People. Loud noises in general. That my parents are getting older. Dating scene and overall toxicity in it. Going to the damn grocery store. How fast time is slipping away from me rather than how slow it used to be as a kid. I hate losing interest in things I used to love. What are your thoughts on Twitter shutting down? And nothing of value was lost. Doesn't affect my life in the slightest. Twitter can collapse and vanish forever. People will just have to do something else while sitting on the toilet. Reject modernity. Return to monkey AIM. I didn't know it was shutting down. It's been great, seeing Ol Muskie demonstrate basically every negative stereotype about billionaires. Good. Time for something new. I'm kind of entertained and I hope it goes south fast. People of Reddit, what do you miss about the COVID lockdown period? Not feeling guilty for never leaving my home and all of the quality time my girlfriend and I spent together. The background noises being switched off, no traffic, no planes in the sky, no horns blaring. Also the sense of community it brought with neighbors checking in on each other and if anyone needed anything. The wild animals exploring cities being all like, where'd the noisy apes go? Not having a cold for 2 years. I actually saved a lot of money. Honestly, when it all started and we were all making bread and didn't really know what was going to happen, I hate to admit it, but it was kind of exciting. The empty roads. My god, the empty roads. Commuting reduced to none. 100 WFH and the occasional trips to the office taking 10 minutes instead of an hour x 200 I do miss empty roads. Formerly obese people of Reddit, what is the most significant effect you felt? Walking feels so much better when you're at a healthy weight and your legs aren't getting chafed raw and I'm not carrying an extra 70 pounds at all times. As a fluffy kid, definitely learning not to constantly eat until I was constantly stuffed. There was a constant guilt that I shouldn't waste food and that I should get my money's worth while eating. Took a lot of work to break those habits and learn that I'm not saving food that I wouldn't have ate otherwise. My 2 bites I didn't finish isn't saving a kid starving somewhere. I went from 265 to 180 and my back stopped hurting at night. The saying nothing tastes as good as being skinny feels is so true. I will never let myself go back. I can see my dick. I'm no longer out of breath all the time and I don't like the taste of sodas with sugar anymore. How simple it was, you don't need to eat perfectly. Just eat better than you were. Focus on that. What actor or actress stupidly left a movie franchise or TV series thinking they were too good for it, only to be never popular again? Terrence Howard was in Iron Man 1 and was going to become War Machine. This was the very start of the Marvel movies, the MCU. He got bounced I think for asking for crazy money. Don Cheadle replaced him for Iron Man 2 and all the movies beyond. Katherine Heigl. She left Grey's to become a movie star. Look how that turned out. She was also a massive problem on the Grey's set. What is something acceptable in women but frowned upon in men? Using toys for masturbation purposes. I never have, but have heard many responses towards those who have, always been double-sided. Having big boobs. Playing with kids. If you are a male, somehow they will think you are a pedo. Expressing to another person how someone's behavior hurt you. I saw my sister speak about something that was upsetting her and I think I genuinely felt jealous when I realized I would never feel safe enough to express how I felt to anyone else. I just feel as a man I'd be seen as weak for doing so. Being a stay-at-home parent. Being a domestic violence victim. When my friend was assaulted by his wife, some of our friends were like, he probably started it. Many people don't believe women can be vicious and men can be domestic violence victim. Talking to kids. How not to cry while cutting onion. Don't have a relationship with the onion. Put a damp paper towel nearby to attract the vapors or swimming goggles. Step 1, try not to cry. Step 2, cry. Cry hard and cry a lot. Chewing gum. Sharpen your knife. Sharpen your knives. Great thing to know how to do. And if you're real bad about the onion crying, then freeze them for 10-20 minutes before you cut them. But always cut them with a sharp knife. That crying gas is an aerosol. If you bludgeon it, it releases way more. Put shades on. Be a man and cry. Put them in the freezer for 5 or 10 minutes. Store them in the refrigerator. Source food detectives. Leave the butt on. Onion goggles. Those safety goggles used in science class. If you have access to a walk-in refrigerator, do it in there. Or do it outside if it's cold out. I heard that lighting a candle and placing it near you while cutting onions helps. What existed when you were a kid that doesn't exist now? Front bench seats in a car. Restaurant smoking sections. 9 planets. Bugs. Internet that came on a disc. Getting off the phone so someone can use the internet. Ha! The Twin Towers. Waiting all night to record your favorite song on cassette tape. Circuit City. 8-track tapes and rotary dial phones. Videotapes. Blockbuster. Gas less than $1 a gallon. The Crocodile Hunter. A lot more frogs. Dramatic difference over the last 40 years. Proper video game arcades packed wall to wall with machines, dark, and loud rock music playing. Damn, I miss those. Kmart cafeteria. Those rusty, metal merry-go-rounds at the park that killed almost all of us at one point. My sanity. What are your opinions on someone with no social media? Made a wise choice. Smart. You have to be actively engaged in conversation and take time to get to know a person who is not on social media. It takes more effort. And they probably have little concern about the opinions of others and don't need likes, hearts or thumbs up to feel validated as a human being. That's a bonus. What used to be normal is now mysterious. No big deal. Apparently, they prefer to socialize in real life and I'm fine with that. They're unnaturally healthy. Huge congrats to them. Smart. They are smart. They are the coolest person in the room usually. Most of the time they're the most relaxed and chilled out person as they have no stress and don't care what you think. I automatically respect them if they're not a prick about it, but I'm always curious on why so. Since I used to be that person too. Lol. I rather my grandparents did not have social media. They're probably happier in general. If you could pick one fictional food, what would you like to try? Lembas. It'd be so practical for hikes or camping trips. The bacon from Hal's Moving Castle. A Krabby Patty. Ratatouille from the movie The Grinch's Roast Beast. And as a side note, that's what my 5-year-old grandson was calling our ham on Thanksgiving. The multicolored goop from Hook. Not a food exactly, but I would want to eat something seasoned with a spice weasel. Bam. Pizza from the 80s TMNT cartoon. Kronk's Spinach Puffs. Soylent Green, with Brondo to wash it down. A Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster. Butterbeer. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order always? Slurm. The lickable wallpaper from Willy Wonka. The moon cheese that Wallace and Gromit had. He didn't seem impressed, but it looked good to me. Good. Serious Redditors, what is the absolute creepiest thing that has happened to you that you can't tell anyone because they wouldn't believe you? My great-grandmother was in a nursing home after losing her mind. One day she started freaking out, screaming that he shot himself. There's blood everywhere etc. for half an hour, so they called my great-aunt to tell her that her mom was having an episode and they were adjusting her medication or whatever. Later we all found out that my uncle shot himself earlier in the day during a fight with his girlfriend. Not really creepy but definitely weird. When I was like 12ish, I think I went to Universal Studios with my friend for his birthday, and while we were in line for the tram some random guy on the other side of the chain grabbed my neck between his thumb and finger, but it was so quick that by the time I turned around the guy was already gone. No one except my friend saw, and to this day we still wonder why. What did you survive? Both parents in hospice together. I watched my father die, then 3 weeks later, held my mother in my arms when she died. Pooped my pants at the mall. The great toilet paper crisis of 2020. My birth. I decided to pop out early, so I had to spend some time in one of those baby aquariums. My suicide attempts sadly. Cancer. An abduction. An attempted murder. He planned to kill me but I escaped before his accomplice got there, and a mile walk out of the woods barefoot and mostly naked. I was 14. A severe cocaine addiction. A ruptured ectopic pregnancy that caused a lot of internal bleeding. What event would justify pooping your pants? Needing to poop. Labor, birth. Dying. Being under the age of 3. If you are kidnapped, and your hands are duct-tapped behind you, and you were stuffed inside the trunk of a car, and you are scared, and you've been transported across state lines, and you've been left there for 18 hours, and you had diarrhea to begin with. No, you may not go the toilet. Over-trusting a fart. Eating Taco Bell. Do you need a reason? Having your pants super glued to your legs. I just had the stomach flu. Super impressed I did not shit myself in the last 48 hours. A pants shitting competition. Being crushed by a truck. Chased by a bear. A poop your pants contest. What childish thing do you still do and don't plan on ever stopping? Run upstairs on all fours. That and running full speed down a hallway after turning off the lights. I'm 37. I have a pretty active imagination and sense of wonder. Swing on swing sets LOL. Avoiding stepping on sidewalk lines cracks. Laughing when someone says doo-doo and a. Video games and anime. Like 90 of the people who say they are childish wastes of time spend equally if not more time watching mindless TV shows. Decompression time is decompression time. I like what I like. I still sing little songs to myself, replacing some of the words with ass or butt. Hug my stuffed animal. Make that's what she said jokes. They'll never stop being funny to me. Wearing funny socks, they make me happy. I rock the fuck out of air guitar. Laughing at farts. Farts will never not be funny. If you eat 15,000 calories in a day, you get $1 billion. How do you get it done? Drink about 9 large Sonic Blast Oreo milkshakes. As many Cinnabons as it takes. 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream, 1 pickle, 1 slice of cheese, 1 slice of salami, 1 lollipop, 1 piece of cherry pie, 1 sausage, 1 cupcake, 1 slice of watermelon. I've been reading a lot of The Very Hungry Caterpillar. I feel like that should do it. Really not that hard if you are allowed the full 24 hours. High-calorie drinks and super-processed foods that are engineered to keep you eating. Just eat at the Cheesecake Factory for all 3 meals a day, plus desserts, and you'll be good. I guess I can cut back a little if it means being a billionaire. Hell, I'd do this 2 days in a row for $1 billion. What fast food place is grossly overrated? Panera Bread, and I don't think it's close at all. They charge $10.19 plus tax for a mac and cheese. It's good, but I know how to make my own. Panera. Food tastes like literally nothing. Like there is a department dedicated to removing flavor. It's the food equivalent of Hint water. Panera Bread. Overpriced, undersized, underseasoned. Honestly, KFC literally just gets served a bucket of grease and bones and is stupidly expensive. KFC. You see it on TV and are like, fuck, I haven't had KFC in ages. You order it, it takes an age to make, and you eat it. The feeling afterwards of self-loathing and disgust is the reason you haven't had KFC in ages. And what are some things the USA does right? The National Weather Service. That's where all the rest of the USA weather channels get their information. The public libraries. They are amazing. We have many public libraries. National parks. NASA. North American conservation model is wildly successful. Long hiking trails and wilderness areas. The Americans with Disabilities Act. We don't have perfect inclusion of disabled people, but we're a lot better at it than lots of places. Yet to make it over, but from an outsider looking in, your national parks look awesome and well cared for. Also seems like you guys have a lot of outdoor space to use. Explore camp, in which we just don't have much of it all in the UK. Free public toilets. I never knew pay toilets existed until I left the US. Free water at restaurants. Postal service. What is so ridiculously overpriced, yet you still buy? Groceries. Right now? Cars, at least in my area. Brand new cars are few and far between. And it's not unusual to see used cars with prices 10k to 12k above what the price was a year and a half ago. It's insane. Concessions at sporting events. As much as I try my best to eat before I go and resist the urge to buy beer when I am there, some days, seeing others enjoying their beer and food snacks make me say F it, and I indulge too. Pretty much all the things I need to stay alive. Razor refills, Warhammer 40k minis, coffee, health insurance, medical supplies, electricity, rent, insulin, my antidepressants. What are people way too sensitive about? This is Reddit. Just pick something. People will be sensitive about it. A general difference in opinion. Everything. Opinions that are different from their own. Twitter. These days, everything. Politics. Patriotism. Asking about their personal issue or bringing their problem to a topic. Not being called the pronoun they want to be called, especially if their pronouns do not match their sex, even more so if their preferred pronoun is something like bird self or bun self. I have a deep voice for a woman and I often get sirred over the phone. I find it amusing, but I don't think it's something to get super angry or upset over. Jokes. People act like a stand-up comedy routine is a fucking podium speech. Donald Trump. Whatever they think is profitable. Serious. What is your favorite song that tells a story? Kick It Tenacious. Night Moves by Bob Seger. Also Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. Devil Went Down to Georgia and the Gambler, Albuquerque. Immigrant Song, Zeppelin. The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Vicki Lawrence. The Night Chicago Died. The Way by Fastball. It was a story that speculated on the fate of an elderly couple who had gone missing and weren't found, sadly deceased, until after the song had come out. The Hurricane. Only saw it mentioned one other place, and it deserves its own post. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. She tells such a relatable tale of trying to escape a familial pattern, only to find yourself the adult of a family that is the same kind of family you had as a kid. It's so familiar to women who've had to take on caretaker roles from a young age, and end up with husbands that never mentally become adults.